Good afternoon. This is Newstrack coming to you live from our Rayfield studio. My name is Kerman Gukas. On the news this afternoon, the Nigerian Army has dismissed allegations that its personnel purchased uniforms and protective equipment with personal funds, describing the claims as false and misleading. In a statement on Tuesday, Acting Director of Army Public Relations, Apollonia Anile, said the military provides all necessary kits and ensures troops are properly equipped. The response followed a viral interview by a former soldier, Rotimi Olamilekan, popularly known as Soldier Boy, who alleged that personnel buy uniforms, boots, and bulletproof vests despite low pay. The Army maintained that it operates a structured salary system, noting that personnel received consolidated monthly pay alongside uniform and other allowances, as well as additional benefits for those deployed to operational theaters. It also rejected claims that soldiers procure their own gear, insisting that uniforms, protective equipment, arms, and ammunition are supplied through established logistics systems. While acknowledging that some personnel may choose to supplement issued kits for personal comfort, the Army stressed that such actions are voluntary and do not reflect systematic failure. The military further stated that no soldier is deployed without adequate protective equipment, urging the public to disregard what it described as baseless allegations capable of undermining morale and national security. The Army added that Olamilekan was dismissed over disciplinary breaches, including violations of social media policy, and not for expressing his views. Senator representing Plateau North, Pam Dachungyang, has promised to collaborate with stakeholders to push for the legislation establishing state police across Nigeria. Dachungyang made this known after sympathizing with victims of the recent attack at Angwan Rukuba community of Jos North local government area. Our correspondent reports that the senator also visited the Uja Anaguta, Johnson Joromogaji, and two other traditional rulers directly affected by the incident.
Senator Pam Dachungyang, who sympathized with victims recovering from various degrees of injuries at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, stressed that the recent attacks in Jos were a lesson for stakeholders on the need for proactive steps to end insecurity in the state. He said, as a member of the Constitutional Review Committee, his emphasis has always been on the creation of state police, affirming that the advantages of legislation on such far outweighs the disadvantages.
And we are making effort, frantic effort, to see that this state police issue comes to fruition. And I know the president is interested in this dream, so that every state, every community can defend, and make laws for themselves, for their security and whatever. And this, I feel, the state police is the right thing at the right time.
Earlier, the senator was at the palace of the Uja Anaguta, where he expressed the need for unity amongst peace-loving communities, cutting across ethnic and religious groups in the state to arrest insecurity. In response, the Uja Anaguta Johnson Joromogaji appreciated the senator for coming and stated that as a community, they have resolved to turn to the Almighty for comfort.
That unless and until those people that committed this havoc, this terrorist act, unless and until they repent, the wrath of God will fall upon them.
Yes. Amen.
Not just them, their entire generation.
Amen.
This is my only call.
At the palace of the Gom Kabong engineer Emmanuel Nyam, the royal father appealed for heightened efforts to improve security in communities across his domain. Similarly, the Agom Jos Izere Adagom Emmanuel Ajik described the incident as painful and called on the lawmaker to fast-track the legislative process that would enhance security in the state. It will be recalled that on Palm Sunday, gunmen attacked Angwan Rukuba community in Jos North, leading to at least 27 deaths and tension across several parts of the state capital. In Jos, Nandom Kumwar.
Director General of the Institute for Policy and Security Policy Research, Dr. Charles Omole, has stressed the need for increased funding for police to enhance their operational capacity and response amid rising insecurity. Omole made this call during an interview on Channels Television, Sunrise Daily, on Tuesday. According to him, the police are not adequately supported to carry out their duties. He cited how former Inspector General of Police Kayode Igbetokun introduced the Special Intervention Squad when he became the Inspector General of Police. The analyst further addressed the need for the three key things when it comes to security management. He noted that the country does not have the intelligence, rapid response, and a highly warning system to tackle insecurity in the country. His comments followed public outcry due to recent spates of terrorist attacks in the country, which have led to a rise in insecurity. Displaced victims of attacks in Dengue and surrounding communities of Kanam local government area have received relief through a joint humanitarian intervention. This gesture was facilitated by member representing Kantana constituency in the Plateau State House of Assembly, Ishmaila Hudu, and Senator representing Plateau Central, Diket Blanc. Our House of Assembly correspondent has the details. Details of that will come to you in a subsequent bulletin. The strike declared by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, scheduled to begin today, April 7, 2026, is already threatening to disrupt services across federal and state-owned hospitals nationwide. Resident doctors in Nigeria have spent a cumulative 51 days on strike since the administration of President Bola Tinubu began, a development that raises fresh concerns over the government's inability to sustain agreements with health workers. The figure, which includes two major strikes and a warning action between 2023 and 2025, comes as doctors once again announce plans to down tools starting from today over unpaid salaries, allowances, and policy reversals. Reports the immediate trigger for the new strike is the federal government's reported decision to halt the implementation of the revised professional allowance table, a key component of an agreement reached after the 2025 strike. In its latest statement, NAD described the move as unfortunate and accused the government of pushing doctors into another avoidable industrial action. The association said its National Executive Council resolved to embark on a total and comprehensive strike following deliberations over the policy shift. NAD is demanding an immediate reversal of the decision to stop the allowance table, payment of promotion and salary arrears, settlement of 19 months outstanding allowance arrears, and release of the 2026 Medical Residency Training Fund. At the center of the dispute is the professional allowance table, which standardizes payments such as call duty, shift allowances, and other work-related incentives. An analysis of strikes by resident doctors since May 2026. It was a moment of celebration as Ayisa, wife to the Director of Engineering, Plateau Radio Television Corporation, Yakubu Ashams, got a birthday surprise in form of a bash from her husband. The celebration, which held at their Apollo Crescent residence, had family, friends, and colleagues joining them to rejoice with her as she clocks 50. Our correspondent tells us more.
Family and well-wishers converge to celebrate Aissa Ashoms as she clocks 50. Husband of the celebrant, Yakubu Ashoms, who is the Director of Engineering with the Plateau Radio Television Corporation, said the surprise birthday is to celebrate her for her care, support, and all she has done for the family in the last 22 years of their marriage. The celebrant, Aissa Ashoms, who was emotional, expressed gratitude to God, her husband, and all those who stood by them over the years. In an exhortation, Reverend Dindam Weir congratulated the celebrant, prayed that God will crown her with success and grant her heart desires. Special prayers were held for the celebrant and her family for divine health, protection, and blessings. Family members, friends, and well-wishers congratulated the celebrant and wished her long life and prosperity. The event climaxed with the cutting of the anniversary cake.
I'm very happy with what happened today.
I am Bol Chitpam.
Now, the House of Representatives has directed the Central Bank of Nigeria, Newstrack and Smeden, to restructure the repayment system for recovery of the COVID-19 loans from Nigerians who took the facility. It also wants the interest rate reduced as well as extension of the repayment time and makes the process more flexible so that small businesses do not collapse. The House made the call recently following public outcry by Nigerians who took the loan that their accounts were being emptied. The lawmakers also urged the Ministry of Finance to suspend all forceful recoveries and even consider waiving the loans for low-income earners and small business owners. According to Saidu Abdullahi, who moved the motion, many people genuinely cannot repay these loans because of the current economic hardship. Following complaints by people who said that their accounts were being emptied, some stakeholders have urged the CBN and Newstrack Microfinance Bank to furnish Nigerians with the record of the COVID-19 loans. They made the call in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria on Tuesday in Abuja. NAN reports that in 2020, the federal government had established a targeted credit facility, TFC, to cushion the economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on Nigerians and small businesses. The stakeholders claimed that the total amount given out in loans and the amount recovered had been shrouded in secrecy. Findings revealed that the TCF was created by the CBN and disbursed by NMFB, which is affiliated to the Apex Bank. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang has encouraged Christians to imbibe unity of purpose and prayers for the sustenance of the state. Governor Mutfwang stated this at the centenary celebration of Kokin Local Church Council, NIES, in Mangu local government area. Details of the report by Mangu Zonal correspondent Ragnan Ignatius is continued from our studio.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang, represented by the Chief of Staff, Jeremiah Sadmak, said the prayer and unity of the people, especially Christians, has been the backbone against insecurity. The governor challenged the NIES community to reflect on the past 100 years and use its positive impact for the good of humanity. Chairman of Regional Church Council, Panyam, Reverend Abednego Panse, while appreciating God for his mercy, faithfulness and grace over the years, commended the efforts of religious, traditional and members for sustaining the church. Guest preacher at the centenary celebration, Reverend Hezekiah Gohalshak, taking his text from 1 Chronicles chapter 4 verses 9 and 10 with the theme, God enlarge our territory, said God cannot deny his faithfulness for a second because he cannot deny his nature. Reverend Gohalshak noted that the church in Nies is not looking at 100 years because of some challenges and implored the congregation to return to God. The Mishkaram Panyam Da Aminu Darwam, while acknowledging the steadfastness of the community, called on the state government to establish a cottage industry in the area to harness sugarcane produce. The small church built in 1925 has a building that was commissioned in 1990 that can accommodate 700 worshippers. Climax of the centenary celebration was the launching of a book chronicling the history of the church, free will donations with choir and women fellowship spicing the occasion with songs.
Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Nanlong Daniel, has donated a brand new Volkswagen Sharon vehicle to the All Progressives Congress chairman of Mikang Local Government Council. The speaker said the donation is part of efforts to strengthen party leadership and grassroots mobilization. Our House of Assembly correspondent has the details.
The presentation of a brand new Volkswagen Sharon vehicle to the APC chairman, Mikang local government area, took place at the refill residence of the Speaker, Plateau State House of Assembly, Nanlong Daniel. Speaking during the ceremony, Nanlong Daniel said his political journey and achievements are rooted in the platform provided by the All Progressives Congress, APC, stressing that he remains committed to supporting the growth and expansion of the party across Plateau State. The Speaker explained that the emergence of new leadership in Mikang local government necessitated deliberate support to empower the chairman to effectively carry out his responsibility, affirming the vehicle will enhance mobility for meetings, grassroots engagement and party mobilization.
We are putting everything in place to ensure that we engage the people of Plateau State for the victory ahead of us. And the leader of this great party in Plateau State is Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, who is pioneering a lot of perspective in terms of development and transformation on the plateau. And we are his apostles, supporting his vision and aspiration to ensure that we cascade it down to our unit, to the wards, and to our various constituencies.
Chairman of Mikang Local Government Council, Bernard Alkali, represented by his Chief of Staff, Andrew Yilna, before handing it over to the beneficiary, commended the Speaker for being a man of his word.
If you want your party to perform optimally, you need to motivate, you need to provide incentives like this so that the barriers or the particular officers concerned can deliver very well and effectively.
In his response, the APC chairman, Mikang Local Government Area, Peleng Caleb, expressed appreciation to the Speaker for the gesture, assuring that the vehicle will be used effectively to strengthen mobilization, coordination and engagement with party members across the local government.
I want to show my heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Speaker for his kind gesture. I'm very delighted.
The donation underscored ongoing efforts by the Speaker to reinforce party structure, deepen grassroots participation, and promote development-oriented representation. In Jos, I am Shama Kigyang.
The foreign scene, Vietnam's communist-dominated General Assembly has elected Tu Lam, the party leader, to be the country's president and head of state, an unusual concentration of power in one person. He was elected unanimously by the 500-seat assembly, which started sitting on Monday, following the Communist Party Congress in January, which makes all the big decisions about the country's future direction. This makes Tu Lam the most powerful leader in Vietnam in recent decades. Tu Lam rose over the last decade to serving as the powerful Minister for Public Security, enforcing a nationwide anti-corruption drive, which saw many of his potential rivals disgraced and purged. In 2024, he took over the jobs of both General Secretary of the Communist Party and President temporarily after the resignation of then-President Vo Van Thuong and the death of party boss Nguyen Phu Trong. The Communist Party of Vietnam has always preferred collective leadership shared among the four most senior national positions, now expanded to 5, known as the 5 pillars. However, Tu Lam has now secured enough backing to take the 2 top jobs for the next 5 years, inviting comparisons with China, where President Xi Jinping has also concentrated power in his hands. And that's a wrap on Newstrack. Don't forget to stay tuned for global news at 6:30 p.m. as well as news update at 10 p.m. Thanks for watching.